Some Champions League nights, they're just different. The air crackles, the stakes are sky high, and the story just writes itself. Tonight, we're going to dive into a match that had everything. A shocking start, a moment of pure despair, and a comeback that, believe me, people will be talking about for years. So the atmosphere inside Camp Nou was just absolutely electric. We're talking over 44,000 fans packed in, and they weren't just expecting a win, they were demanding a spectacle. And why wouldn't they? Barcelona was on fire, winning 13 of their last 14 matches. This was supposed to be a coronation, right? Not a contest. But you know how it is in football. The script is really just a suggestion. And sometimes, in the span of just 4 minutes, that script gets completely ripped to shreds, leaving an entire stadium in absolute stunned silence. And look, the stakes for this night, they were just immense. This wasn't just any old group stage match. A win here would lock in a top 8 finish in the new league phase, punching their ticket directly to the round of 16. The pressure could not have been higher. But just as the home crowd was getting comfortable, it happened. A single moment that shattered that entire pre-written script. You could literally hear the roar of 44,000 fans just evaporate, replaced by this single collective gasp. The unthinkable was happening. Just 4 minutes. Think about that. That's all it took. 4 minutes into the match for the entire game plan to be thrown into absolute chaos. The visitors, Copenhagen, just completely stunned Barcelona. It was a classic counterattack, a breakaway goal that came totally against the run of play and left the home side absolutely reeling, and the crowd just shaking their heads in disbelief. And get this, the player who delivered the stunning blow? A 17-year-old kid. Viktor Dadason, showing composure that just defied his years, slots at home. He basically announced his arrival on the biggest stage in club football with pure ice in his veins. Okay, so as one young star shocked the world, you just knew another one had to be ready to respond, right? With their backs completely against the wall, Barcelona turned to their own teenage phenom, a player ready to bend the entire match to his will. 18 years old, just one single year older than the player who had silenced the entire stadium. This was the age of the player who's about to light it all back up. Lamine Yamal. For years, people have called this kid the future of Barcelona. Well, on this night, he proved he is very much the present. With his team trailing, the pressure cranked up to 1,000. He didn't just play, he became the catalyst. It's one thing to have talent, it's another thing entirely to demand the ball in a moment like this. And just like that, what we were watching transformed into this incredible duel between two of Europe's brightest young talents. You had the 17-year-old Dadason striking first, a massive goal on the biggest stage. But he was up against Barcelona's 18-year-old who already held the record for the most Champions League goals by a player under 18. This wasn't just a comeback, it was a battle for the future. And listen, once Yamal lit that spark, there was no looking back. The doubt that had crept into the stadium was just washed away by this relentless wave of attacking football. This was Barcelona roaring back to their dominant best. Okay, so let's break down this comeback because it was a total whirlwind. After that early shock, the second half was a completely different story. It all starts right after the break. 48 minutes in, the veteran Robert Lewandowski, cool as you like, slots home the equalizer. Then just 12 minutes later, it's Yamal himself who puts them ahead. After that, the pressure just becomes relentless. Raphinha adds a brilliant third before the 70th minute, and then Rashford seals the deal, a total demolition from the penalty spot. From crisis to command in just about 40 minutes. But really, this entire comeback hinged on 2 moments of pure, undeniable genius from Yamal. First, the assist for Lewandowski. He doesn't just run at defenders, he dances past them. His incredible close control and low center of gravity make him almost impossible to stop. He draws the entire defense towards him before making the perfect pass for an easy finish. And then, the goal. A sublime, curling shot from the right that was just pure confidence. That wasn't just a goal, that was a statement from a player who knew he was the best on the pitch. When you think about it, maybe we shouldn't have been so surprised by their fight back. This comeback wasn't a fluke. It was the response of a team in blistering form. This victory marked their 14th in just 15 matches, which proves that for them, winning has become a habit, an ingrained mentality, even when they're facing a sudden crisis. All right, so after all that drama, what did this spectacular 4-1 win actually mean for them? it wasn't just about the 3 points. It was so much bigger than that. It was about securing their path forward in the most prestigious tournament in Europe. Well, the final league table, it really tells the whole story, doesn't it? Barcelona secures 5th place with 16 points, firmly planting their flag among the absolute elite of European football. Mission accomplished. And here's the bottom line. That's the real prize right there. By finishing in the top 8, they've completely skipped that tricky playoff round and booked their ticket directly to the round of 16. They are officially through to the knockout stages. So where does a night like this leave Barcelona? We've seen their grit, we've seen their dominance, and we've seen a teenager who can single-handedly change their entire destiny. So the question isn't just if they can win the Champions League, but with a talent like Lamine Yamal leading the charge, is there really anyone who can stop them?